Hi, math friends. Today we're going to look at our inequalities and plotting linear equations study guide together. So let's review these skills. All right, so first we have the distributive property. Two ways that we can do this. We can think of like dipping in, multiply by each term inside the parentheses. 6 times 2 is 12, and it's 2x, so it's going to be 12x. Then 6 times 2, we get 12. So that's one way we could do it. Another way that we could do it is we could think of it as a box, like 3, and then we're going to multiply it by the two things here. 3 times y, 3 times 2c. Now you can write these on top of the box or inside, whatever works best for you. We have to remember that you're going to multiply it then. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 2c is 6c. And notice that that's positive, right? So at the end, when we write our final answer, we're going to write it as 3y plus 6c. Whatever way works best for you, go ahead and use that method. All right. Next one, remember this 9 is outside the parentheses, so this is what you're going to multiply by. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times negative y is negative 9, because it's like there's a negative 1 in front of that y. All right, next one, a third. A third of 6 is 2. And then I have a third of 12. A third of 12 is 4. All right, next one, 30x times 2a. So 30 times 2, we're going to multiply the numbers together. Remember, when we multiply, we can get all these things together. X times a we can't do, so we're going to write 60xa. Or you can write 60ax, either order. Same thing for when we have c. 30 times 10, 300. And then we have x and c, so we have to just put them next to each other. And there's no like terms here, so I can't add these together. Do not add them together and say 360. That's not right. Next one, we're distributing the 1. 1 times an eighth is an eighth. 1 times negative 10 is negative 10, and that's negative 10x. Not like terms, so we have to leave it like that. All right, now our inequality solving. So just like an equation, we draw a line down the equal sign first, and then we look for inverses to do. So I'm going to do plus 5 because there's a minus 5 over here where the variable is. Do a plus 5, and I'm going to get to negative 5 then. And over here, I have 5x. And just like when we solve an equation, we're going to divide by that 5 because it's 5 times x. All right. Remember, we divided by a positive number, so this inequality sign stays the same. So less than negative 1, we're going to draw open circle for less than to show that it cannot be exactly negative 1, but it can get close to it. All right, next one, line down the inequality sign, and plus 4, so we're going to do minus 4, because that's where the variable is there, so minus 4. So then I get 3. Negative x is left here. And remember that negative x, it's like it's a negative 1x. So if it helps you to write negative 1 there, do it. Do it every time. All right, divide by negative 1, and we get x, negative 3. Since we divided by a negative, we have to flip this inequality sign, less than or equal to negative 3. So that means we're going to draw our circle at negative 3 on the number line and fill it in. Remember, if you're having trouble seeing your circle, make your circle bigger so that we can see it well. Less than, we're going to go to the left. All right, next one, same idea. Now the variable's on the right side, so look over here. You're going to do a plus 1. Got to do it on the same side to keep everything equal. 7c, 21. And then we'll divide by that 7. So we'll end up with 3. And we divided by a positive number, so we're going to keep that inequality sign the same way. Now that might be hard to read because the variable goes second. Remember, the alligator is eating the variable. The variable is the greater thing here. So we'd have to flip it like that so we can read it better. C is greater than 3. So let's go to 3, open circle, and go to the right. All right, our last one here for inequalities. Negative 9y. So if you're confused on this, negative 9 times y. Divide by that negative 9. Yeah, there's only one step here. That happens sometimes. So look at it carefully and do it well. We divided by a negative, so that means we're going to flip that inequality sign. So y is greater than -3. So open circle there, and greater than is going to be to the right. Draw our arrow nicely so we can see it. All right, now we're on to our linear equations. So remember, linear means that these should be straight lines. I actually made an error here. This one right here is the same as this one, so we're going to leave it like it is. All right, so we have 3 times 1. We're going to replace this into that x every time. So 3 times 1 minus 10, you get -7. And then our coordinate's going to be 1, -7. We're going to go ahead and plot that. Over 1, down 7. If you need to see that again, rewind. Write 1 down 7 from the origin. You always start at the origin. Next one, 3. In parentheses, we're going to put 0 now for x, because that's what we're replacing x with. So 0 minus 10, we get -10. And then our coordinates 0, -10. You always get your xy from the xy column here. That's why this table is really helpful. So 0 left and right, down 10. Put your point all the way down there. All right, next one, 3. We put 1 in here. This is the same as that other one because I made an error on what I gave you, so it's going to be the same thing. It's the same point, so we don't have to replot it. All right, and last point here, 3. We put in 3 for x, minus 10. So 3 times 3 is 9. 9 minus 10 is -1. So our point here is 3, -1. All right, so where does that go? Start at the origin, over 3, up 1. And when you draw your line through with your ruler, it should be nice and straight here. Now I'm going to use the tool here on my computer. So I'm going to make my line nice and straight and then extend it. It should go through those points perfectly. If it doesn't, if it's making kind of a zigzag, go back and check your table, redo your points. All right, last table here, we're going to put in that number for x. Even though there's a -4, you still do it the same way. So put in 2 for x, -4 times 2 plus 18. So you should get 10. So I get 2, 10. I would suggest plotting these points right away. So from the origin over 2, up 10, all the way up here. Next one, use 3. So -4, parentheses 3, plus 18. Kind of hard to write here on the trackpad, but we can do it. When we do that, we get 6. So we get 3, 6. So I'm going to go over 3, up 6. Next one, we're going to use 4 in place of x, so -4. See how every time we have -4 and we have plus 18, what's changing is the x every time. All right, so we do -4 times 4 plus 18, we get 2. So our point here is going to be 4, 2. So I go over 4, up 2. And then our last one, we're going to use 5. So -4 times 5 this time, plus 18. And when we add those, when we multiply and add, we get -2. And then I'm going to show my point here, 5, -2. So over 5, down 2. And we should have a straight line here. If we don't have a straight line, we're going to have to check out our points and do it again. Because maybe something's plotted wrong if we don't have a straight line. But thankfully we do. We did plot this correctly. All right, make sure your line goes all the way through your graph, top and bottom, and that you have lines drawn at the end like that. And there we go. So good luck studying. You can do it.